We were, I was with the Roadster Shop guys recently, and we were having a conversation about all this, and they said, "Oh wow, it's kind of like Hot Rod Magazine. Like you really have to," because I was talking about the car you pick the thumbnail has to work, the title has to work, because if it doesn't, you don't get the clicks.
Right.
And they were saying, well, like Hot Rod and magazines like that, you had to pick 12 covers a year.
Tell me.
And but try this
That's
one
where
on.
I came from.
I know you did. No, I know you did. And I was saying to them, I get it. Try on 8 covers per month.
Hey, welcome to Car Guy Confessions, brought to you by ARP. I'm Jeff Smith. This is my car buddy Cam Benty and car builder Steve Strope, and we're going to tell you some stories.
Hey, can I engage? Yeah. I'm going to engage. Are we? Oh God!
It's all recorded.
So, welcome back to another Car Guy Confessions without Jeff Smith.
Correct.
We pine away for Jeff Smith.
Yes, in the forest. We pine in the forest.
Oh, not
absolutely. But
all right, Cam Benty, editor extraordinaire of just like every other magazine known to man, automotive-wise.
Anything that walked. There we go.
Steve, I build cars.
Some
and,
awesome cars.
We're brought to you by...
Understated.
You're not spoken to yet. You
understated.
So
there's
we are
no
brought
humor.
to you... I'm trying to say the sponsors. God damn.
That's good.
So ARP...
Dash.
Not there. I'm not there yet.
Okay.
With the website.
All right.
God, hold it. Yeah. That's right. I get to see ARP-bolts.com, which I just said with accuracy, mind you. Thank you. Anyway, sponsor is ARP, which I use exclusively, and so should you. Yes. So there you go. Now, that guy over here, huh? Where are we? We are, that's really good. We are in Southern California. At the Petersen Museum, right?
Absolutely.
With super cool Porsches all around.
Seriously.
And there'll be another, there's another one we filmed with the man behind, the car behind us, Ron Emery.
Rod.
Rod. Did I say Ron?
You said
Sorry.
Ron.
That was bad.
I know I'm not supposed to be here
No,
yet.
you can.
I like that guy.
I like
Ron,
that guy.
I like Rod better, but Ron Emery's pretty cool
Rod's
too.
more car.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's one of his outlaws that he built a long time ago. I was scoping that out. It's pretty bitchin'. If you're in the area, or fuck it, fly here.
Sorry.
Just come check it out.
Absolutely.
So anyway.
What's the car on the wall? Did we ever talk about that?
Car on the wall?
The car on the wall.
That's the guy next to you.
We'll get there.
Okay.
Now you got me curious about the car on the wall.
I don't even know. It looks like a model kit.
No, it's an old race car.
Is it now?
Oh, you bet.
Oh, did you find out the answers?
RSR.
Oh. So it's worth a lot of money on the wall.
Yes. It's better on the track.
Yeah, fair enough.
Fair enough. And who is this over here?
Him?
Yes, that man.
Oh, that's Sean Davis, and most people watching this are pretty hip to computer things, and they have seen this guy. He is the main dude behind Autotopia LA. Can we just say Autotopia to shorten it up? Or
I mean, yeah,
Really?
yeah, absolutely. I do all the time.
because I do it wrong, and I say Autotopia La. So
The truth is, initially it was going to be Autotopia, but the website was taken, so I added an LA on the end
I know
of
this
it,
feeling.
and I got the domain name. So
I tried to get Pure
there we
Vision,
are.
and like Bausch and Lomb had it, and they got bigger lawyers. So Pure
Yeah,
Vision
they'll crash
Design
you.
it was. Yeah, they weren't friendly.
Pure
So,
Vision Design works for you because
It
you
did.
did, like you said at the beginning. You build cars.
I build cars.
You build cars.
I do, like a couple. So anywho, if you haven't seen their stuff, they have fantastic videos that live in the YouTube world.
They do.
And has whole tons of rabid following of people who want to see that, pretty cool cars that I build. I mean, that other people build. That
We have had.
we
quite
have
a
done
few,
videos
We have
together.
had quite a few of yours on there. Though,
we've had 2 or 3.
Come on. You want me to name them all?
No, I don't.
Because I know them all.
Yes,
Trust
please.
me.
Please. Fill us in.
So
Fill us in.
the Black Ops Fairlane.
Okay.
We did the Gold GTO. We did Rogan's Nova. We did. Yes, that's a spectacular car.
What else did we do?
I
The right-hand
gotta
drive
say,
pickup.
possibly my favorite of your cars is the Anvil Mustang. I
good
absolutely
one.
love that car
Yep,
like
it's a cool car.
crazy.
The Martini Ford.
We haven't done Martini yet, but
Guess what happened?
we are going
Just
to.
came home.
It did.
Oh, yeah.
This
It did.
morning after being gone for 12 years.
And
Somebody very close to me.
Wait. It's
Why did
back
they
in
bring
LA
it back?
now?
It is in Moore Park, California right now.
Dude.
As of like 8 o'clock this morning.
It's back because,
So of all, because we've talked about this, like all of his cars that I've really been dying to
crazy
shoot,
one.
that car is so outrageous. It's
So we will be doing a video with Autotopia.
Yes, we will.
So anyway, nevertheless, my car's notwithstanding.
why did it come back?
It's been purchased.
Purchased by some other.
A really great gentleman.
Okay, and he's bringing it back to you for.
No, he bought it and he happens to live in this area.
Oh.
So it has now made it back to Southern California.
So it's not an oil change.
No, it is not an oil change. Well, it may have an oil change.
Cabin filter.
It could. Cabin filter. I don't think we put one of those in there. It's called roll the window down and suck in the fumes.
That's it.
So, but anyway, so this cat, if you're not familiar and you love this kind of stuff, which I don't know why you'd be watching this unless you want really poor comedy. You're probably into car stuff. So if you haven't gone to Autotopia, there's a wide variety of things to look at. There's street machines, there's muscle cars, there's sports cars, there's pickup trucks. There's a whole ton of different stuff. But he likes to pick higher end stuff. In fact, I kind of liked what I thought back in the beginning when you were starting it. One of the ethos, one of the things you were building on was to show the higher end car and explain and almost defend, well, these are the reason why these cars are this expensive.
Absolutely.
There is a reason why there's an expense level, and they take this long to build and have this much effort into it, and we're actually going to show you it, but you actually show them out running and driving and working and actually functioning.
Yeah.
So I always thought, I liked that, obviously. You know, it's kind of what I do is build those kind of vehicles. Yeah. So I liked that somebody was focusing on, we're going to look at quality and we're also going to defend it. We're not going to throw it under the bus. Well, this is a ridiculous amount of money that, you know, you'd never afford. So why would you even want to look at it?
Right.
So I thought that was cool, but you've also moved because of over time. You're finding more and more things to film. Yeah. That it's not all that. Sometimes it's an extremely high horsepower car, you know, for fun, you know, and other things like that. So it's neat. So how long has Autotopia been out there for people to look at? How many years has this been now?
This is going to
frighten me.
It's wild. December 1st coming up.
Tell me it's 10 years.
No. Thank God it's not that long yet.
Good.
December 1st coming up will be 6 years since we released our first video.
Okay.
Long enough.
And other than a couple different times for whatever, a variety of reasons, we pretty much have stayed true to 2 videos per week.
2 a week?
That's
all year.
That's a lot.
For 6 years.
We're just happy to get two of these out. Or one of these out every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So anyway,
wow, 2 videos
and by the way,
a week.
So this is all on YouTube. Your platform is a YouTube channel.
It is.
That's that's a lot of cars.
So
it is.
Okay.
It is. We were, I was with the Roadster Shop guys recently, and we were having a conversation about all this, and they said, "Oh wow, it's kind of like Hot Rod Magazine. Like you really have to," because I was talking about. The car you pick the thumbnail has to work, the title has to work, because if it doesn't, you don't get the clicks.
Right.
And they were saying, well, like Hot Rod and magazines like that, you had to pick 12 covers a year.
Tell me.
And but try this
That's
one.
where
on.
I came from.
I know you did. No, I know you did. And I was saying to them, I get it. Try on 8 covers per month.
Yeah. It's a lot.
That's what we do, you know. And obviously, you can never. It's not like every single car we shoot can be an award-winning car, and that would actually be boring if it was. I think,
Yeah, well, that's what I said. You've diversified a little bit, and there's more interesting things to look at and learn about.
I think so. Even the like garage-built cars. The guy that's a real hardcore enthusiast, and he saves up $25,000 and does a bunch of work, and then maybe another 25, and over the course of a couple of years, now he's built a car that God, we've shot some great garage built cars. I mean, they don't have fit and finish on the level of like the stuff.
But they're not
do.
supposed to.
They're not at all. They're not
the
trying to be that. But it's. I just love it because Steve. But I know you don't know this about me. But I'm not a mechanic. I don't build. I don't wrench. I don't design. I was a lifelong musician. You know, it's what I did. I toured until 2011.
I read the whole bio. That's
and-
where
Yep.
is that where you guys connected initially? The
No.
whole music thing.
No, it was
No,
originally
your
me chasing
brother.
him through a parking lot.
Yeah, him chasing me through a parking lot that I had to call police because he's frightened me. I'm kidding, but
Oh,
no,
you wrenching
no,
at that
no,
point?
No,
You
no,
had, like,
I'll
wrench
tell
in
you
your
what-
hand?
I'll tell you what he was doing. I was picking up the Anvil Mustang.
That's right.
Yeah.
From our buddy who came on, Dennis McCarthy.
Yes.
He had borrowed
Dennis
the
and
car.
I are in the same complex.
they're
Right.
Our
Right.
buildings
That's when
are-
I came over to
Yes,
see you.
that's right.
That's right.
That's
I was
right.
over at
Yes,
Dennis's.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
So
exactly.
I picked up the Anvil Mustang. It just came back from being used for filming for Fast and Furious 6.
Yes.
So I'm picking it up, and I have to roll by his roll-up door to go from Dennis's down the alleyway to where my truck is. At that time, your current facility was your brother's
It was
kind of like storage
It was his
facility
private
for his
man
car
cave
collection.
kind of thing. Yes.
Which is
Right.
when I saw it the first time.
Yes.
If we go back, but
Yes.
go ahead. Go.
And they
go
had
ahead with your deal.
they had a he's gonna bust my balls. They had a couple of cool cars in there. They
Sure,
did.
sure.
So I know what's coming. I know. What's
He's so bad. I swear, this guy.
I wasn't being a dick. I swear.
No, you were.
Okay.
You totally were.
So I'm driving. So I'm driving down the alley, and I'm the car's just idling. I'm not
Sure.
not driving like a loon. And I like catch this guy running. I'm like, oh, I didn't do anything.
And I think I said something genius like, "Hey, you're Steve Strope."
Yeah. And I'm
And
like, oh,
I know.
we got that covered.
There you go.
It was so dumb.
I get to the end of the alley, and the truck and trailer's down there that we're going to load it up. So he introduced himself. I leave the car with the truck with the gentleman who, Kevin, Benchmark Transport.
Yeah.
He's going to load the car up, and he goes, "Hey, my brother's got a cool place. You want to come look? Got some cool cars." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm always down."
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So I walk back, and he's like, "Oh, I'm geeking out. I love that car. It's super cool." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, it's pretty cool."
Right.
And we walk in, and they've got some good iron sitting in there. They do have some cool cars, and I think I called.
But
one of
he
them
said
cute.
things
Did I
like,
say, "That's
like
cute"?
he walked by my brother at the time had an 07 GT3 RS. Bitchin' car.
It is a bitchin'
really
car.
cool car.
It's a very bitchin' car.
And Steve walked up and said, "Oh, cute Porsche."
Well, it was cute, Porsche.
Okay,
but-
wait, we'll go another step
This
further
is a
because
cute- this
he
is
was
a
kind
cute
of
Porsche.
he was kind of a dick. So then,
There you go.
so then it's so
kind of a
funny.
dick.
So then my brother had this
didn't
really
mean it.
kick-ass
Yeah, I get
70
it.
Cuda.
Yeah.
Really cool car. It was it was an AAR tribute-ish, not really, but it
Oh,
was
yeah, I
a
forgot that car, yeah.
bitchin' car. 540 Hemi, you know.
Sure.
I loved that car. And I go to pop the hood, and you pull the hood pins, but there was also still a hood latch on there.
Yes.
Right.
And Steve instantly goes, "Now, why would you leave that if you got hood pins?" And I'm going, "All right, let me be patient because it is Steve Strope."
I
And I
hate this
kind
guy.
of, at
I'm
the
already
time,
hating
I
him.
was brand new to being in the automotive space. You know,
Okay.
I'm working for my little brother at the time, just kind of. I mean, he really gave me kind of a flunky job just to give me something because I didn't know anything but playing music, and I was
Sure.
done with that, you know?
Right.
And where I think it was neat with Steve and I was I used to call him up. I'd go up to his shop. I think one time you even asked me, like, what I can't remember exactly how you said it. Something like, "What are you doing?" Like, I think it was something like that.
What are you doing?
And I just wanted to get to know the car industry.
Wow,
you know, I was
sure.
super
Wow,
obsessed with it.
I need to reevaluate
I was
myself.
having a ton of fun doing this, but it was real fun with Steve and I because we got to talking about music.
Yeah, he's
Right. Well,
top
he was
shelf.
right. You were
Phenomenal
you were in,
singer,
you were in
phenomenal
Nashville.
guitar player.
You were in
Yeah,
Nashville.
yeah, I spent a bunch
but
of
you
time
were a rocker
there.
before that.
I was, yeah.
Yes.
We actually
and then
said-
I went
my homework. I did my
full
homework.
country.
we finished up a SEMA car to his band's album.
And that's where we started to
I
connect.
played it so much.
Nice. What
That
the-
was where we
great
started to
stuff.
What was the name
connect.
of the band?
What's it was called Stone Honey?
Stone
My
Honey. Oh,
last
I did
band
read
was
that.
called
Yeah.
Stone
I
Honey.
will say
yeah.
this, and I mean it because I've told you this before.
Yeah.
They are the unknown other version of the Eagles.
Really?
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
It was- it was-
their
I'll have to listen
album
in.
was cut live with no overdubs and no retakes, and it's unbelievable
four-part harmony. It was a
harmonies,
kick-ass
scenes.
band.
It's
It was.
phenomenal.
I got to admit, it was
Just
a kick-ass band.
Kick-ass. Yes, it was.
Getting the band
So
back,
I was
getting the band back together.
Yeah, getting the band back together. So did I call you when
You
we were
did.
building the car?
You
and
did.
I said,
it
hey,
was
we got your
during
album
the
playing.
hard SEMA crunch, like the push for SEMA.
What
I
car
want to
was it?
say it was. I
can't remember
want to
what
say
car
it was the Charger, the
blue
purple
one?
blue Charger
Yeah.
with the red steering wheel.
Yeah,
I want to say
the
it was.
66 and 2. That's coming back down for Grand National this year.
I love that
Got
car
asked
so
to be back in
much.
the Street Machine
I
building.
love that car.
So anyway, what I really liked about him, especially when he started talking about putting this Autotopia idea together, is he's openly honest to his following, especially in the beginning when nobody knew who he was. He's like,
Sure.
Look, I don't build, I don't turn wrenches, I don't pretend to know all the minutia in the background.
Right.
I just know that's really cool, and I want to talk about it and learn about it. So his enthusiasm of thinking that car, fill in the blank, is so cool.
Right. It's a pure deal.
It's an excitable energy, and you get someone who's used to being on stage, being in front of people, so he's not camera shy.
Yes.
And he's freely speaks on a microphone. So now you got a guy who really wants to learn about that thing and can get it out of the owner.
Right.
And they've got some guys that are decent with the cameras and
Right.
editing. So you have an interesting video to watch that you actually learn something about from the owner about the car and the this and the that and the why it even got built in the first place and that whole thing. But that energy and excitement carries over. You can tell he's not, being a dick like I was. So you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's an honest enthusiasm, and it carries over. So it makes for an entertaining thing to watch. And then you pick some really nice stuff that obviously people have agreed that they like looking at it because you keep building more and more of a following.
Hey, we'd like to thank our sponsor, ARP-bolts.com. We got a fantastic little backdrop here. They make an outstanding series of bolts, almost anything you would need for engines, chassis, things like that. In fact, we were at lunch today, and a guy asked you about the bolt on the back of your shirt, and and I said, well, it's really about a head bolt. They neck the stem down of the bolt on a short, small block Chevy head bolt, so the clamp load is even across 3 different head bolt lengths on a small block Chevy. And, so that's the kind of technology that you get out of ARP. And we've all got stories on all that stuff.
For a translation of what he said, call ARPbolts.com.
but the message is that you can't get any better than that.
No, you cannot.
There you go.
Nope.
Excellent.
And then just check them out at arp-bolts.com. We'd like to thank our friends at InTheGarageMedia.com. They have 3 fantastic magazines. They've got Classic Truck Performance, they have Modern Rotting, and my favorite, All Chevy Performance with Nick, my buddy Nick,
Oh,
is
you're
the
so
editor.
biased.
So yes, of course.
Yes.
But they're doing print media, which
Yes.
is of course our favorite. So
Tangible
color and
magazine.
everything.
in color and everything, and you can get your car on the cover of one of those books, which is
Right.
a fun
that's a
deal.
lot.
Great
Yeah.
tech.
Great
Written
tech.
by you
know,
and others
not always
that are
written by me, but
famous
yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Not
yeah.
always written by me.
That's right.
Just
So
pick it
check
up and
them
read
out
it.
at InTheGarageMedia.com, and they're our friends, and they will thank you.
It keeps growing, man. We're like just about to click 500,000, which subscribers, which
That's huge.
given that we're not shooting like modern, the most keyword rich cars, right? You're not shooting the latest and greatest from McLaren and Ferrari and Lambo and stuff like that. So it just as far as how the algorithm and the AI aspect of it plays into it, I would say it's a bit more niche of a market, right? Like pro touring and resto mods, right? But I also do still believe that there's millions of people that are into that car world. You
bet.
I really do. I think we have the ability still to see the numbers really kick up into the millions. At least I'm going for it. That's the goal
exactly.
is just keep pushing.
So
with
do you
it.
have your own production team that's doing all the videos? Is that your system? And so they're all and they're shooting mainly at your shop?
Usually it's at my shop. There's
That's
times,
like home base, but they go out and drive around.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then we also shoot. There's I don't know if we have to shoot down an OC. I borrow my buddy Dean's storage facility. He's got a place similar to mine, so it's a similar backdrop, We like when we shoot with Steve, typically we go up to his shop and shoot there.
Makes sense.
You know,
makes sense.
But it's best. We have a little more control over doing it where we do it at my facility for not only the interview and the B-roll and stuff, but when we go to do our driving, you know, we've got some good roads that we can count on for if we want to get after it a little bit.
Sure.
You know, we can safely.
You bet.
For the most part.
Speaking of which, we'll have Habib Chevelle ready very soon.
Nice.
We have a beautiful 67 Chevelle, which some of you may know about. That was at SEMA last year, and it's getting wrapped up. So, well, of course, we will. Do you know you are pretty much my first and almost only video source that I deal with?
I love that. Yeah, I know. Because, I mean, it's funny, dude.
You're saying all your cars go to him.
Yeah.
We get to shoot everything.
I don't know about, well, I'll let other people do an interview or walk around or whatever, but I always offer him.
Always.
Sure.
Like he lets me know quite a ways in advance, which is rad.
And I like filming with him because it's not pretentious at all, and he's got a good group of guys with him.
That's good.
That understand the car is not a prop.
Yeah.
And have respect to the vehicle. And if I'm like, hey, I'm not going to get on this thing, it's somebody else's car. We're going to drive it around, but we're not going to, hoonigan in it. Then he's respectful of that.
Right.
Totally.
So
what's your best viewed? What cars drew the best? What is the stuff that's working?
wasn't mine.
No.
Although
I wouldn't expect it. Mine's not crazy. Mine aren't crazy.
Yeah.
Although the Nova, now look, when in a title, when you can put the word Joe and Rogan in the title, it's going to obviously get
It's an instant.
views.
Sure.
Yes. Sure.
But I notice also
And thank you to Joe again for letting me build the car. Appreciate it.
And being on his show.
And for having me on the
Look
podcast.
it up.
Yes, again, thank
Look
you.
it up.
Great
Absolutely.
guy.
I was talking with Sean Smith earlier today, and we were both talking about how great it was to see you on that because
So you can point and laugh? Why?
Because like that's the kind of setting where you could kind of clam up, you could freeze up or be weird or not be yourself or something.
Absolutely.
But it was so cool. Not only were you totally yourself, you can tell you and Joe really have, like you guys said,
we just
20
talk.
years,
Sure.
20 years that you've known each other. So the conversation got really interesting, and I know him way
That's
too
Joe.
well. Steve, one of my favorite things with him, and I'm not going to mention the car because the car, it's built by a friend of mine, but Joe was saying, and that crazy about the car, and Steve was like, yeah. Oh yeah, it's a car.
That's a humdinger.
It's got all four wheels.
That's it.
But it was fun to watch. Sean and I were talking about it earlier today, and we like it was a fun watch with you guys.
You like how we went to? Oh my God, we were at sardines are bad for you because of the mercury in it.
Yeah,
and then there was taking the human brain and putting it in a robot body. Then was the discussion of Satan.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then there was.
Did
you
he
guys
hang you
went
from-
out there for a minute.
He went out
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
Joe.
yeah,
you
yeah.
went out there. In fact, he commented twice that I pulled him back into.
Yeah.
He goes, "So you got me back to square one."
Did he hang you from a helicopter and make you eat bull testicles? or
No,
something?
there wasn't, but it was
Good
close.
fear factor reason.
we did talk about hunting. We talked about how amazing silent sniper killers owls are because they make no noise.
We don't
so
talk
they
about
fall.
that on this show.
No, we don't.
See?
We don't really go there. Car show.
That's
yeah.
right.
Refer back to past.
Back to cars.
Back to past. The car show.
Go back to beginning.
But yeah, it was a fun interview, and he's a gracious host. And
Yes.
we had a great time, and
Absolutely.
I was very, very honored to be there and be part of it.
Yeah,
so
man.
that was really cool.
so what
But
works
anyway,
for-
what was the big car?
So the
I don't know this one either.
the
What was
biggest,
the big car?
The biggest video on our channel until recently was a 1971 Dodge Challenger built by a friend of mine in Australia, rides by Cam.
Yeah.
And it's a
had
real
nothing to do with this.
radical. It's called Havoc.
That's familiar for some reason.
It's just radical.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say it. It's radical. I mean, it sits super, super low. It's got a big 572 Hemi with a 4.3 liter Pro Charger on it. I mean, it's way, way, way over the top. And when we shot it, it was total show car. Like, you don't drive this car. You pull it out of the shop. It goes on a trailer into the show, back to the trailer, back to my shop.
Right.
That's all that car did. And that was the comedy to me, is like, wait, we're out there doing some, I mean, we're not Hoonigan, you know what I mean? But we can get after it a bit in some of our videos and,
right.
you know, point straight and sometimes turn the wheel and spin it and all, you know, have some fun, right? And that car, we could do nothing more than pull it out of the garage, turn it around a couple times, pull it back in the garage, and it's 7-8 million views.
Why?
But then so
you're the master of your domain.
Okay, so here's what I've continued to learn. Here's what I've continued to learn about it, and it's awful, but it's the truth, is bad news travels faster than good news, right?
Of course.
If it's a car that everyone thinks is really great, everyone likes it, right? And they say things like, "Oh, that's so nice."
Or
it'll
cute.
do okay, or cute. Yeah.
Cute.
It'll get some viewership when it gets a fair or
when it gets
good amount
mail?
Of hatred. Yeah, it usually, like, we're in the middle of it right now. We just shot. You actually saw the car, the Roadrunner.
You're
my
bring
friend.
me into this.
Yeah.
Don't bring me into this.
Yeah. My friend Dustin in Vegas built that Roadrunner that was at the Kevin Hart thing we were at recently.
Vegas, I thought he was from...
Pretty good amount of love. Like, people think it's really amazing, but more of the comments are how much people hate it. They can't believe he took a perfectly good Roadrunner and turned it into this and like awful stuff. Him and I we shot today and we were both laughing about some of the things. So when videos, unfortunately, when they get some hatred, they have a tendency to do.
Well, it's a forest fire.
Well, that's right.
The forest fire makes heat, and heat makes the air currents go, and then it blows the forest fire. It fans the flames, and the fire gets bigger.
Which is the plot to Backdraft.
Right. Car show.
But yeah, Mopar always does well on the channel. You know, anytime you could put 1,000 horsepower anything in the title, usually it has a tendency to do okay. And you know,
we're using all of that for this video. Okay. Yeah, bring it in. 1,000 horsepower.
1,000 horsepower Mopar crash.
So
Shawn
I'm going to be remiss if I don't, because obviously, in fact, I've got questions.
Yeah.
And not the questions you think I'm going to ask.
Okay, Alex.
So there's
I got answers. That's something you would say about it.
So there's people who do know of your channel and know of you, which obviously there's a lot of them, know of the famous incident.
Yes, sir.
That rearranged your dentals.
Yes, sir.
Yes, it did.
I got new teeth.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
He's
boy.
got a video of his head whacking the dash. The brakes failed on the car they were riding.
I read about it, yeah.
So
this is the Mercury.
Comet, yeah.
So
pretty car too, man. Really pretty car.
For me, my question isn't, because you and I have already talked in depth about that whole thing and everything else. What I guess I shouldn't be surprised, I'm going to go with, I'm so disappointed in, is, but as we said, everyone loves dirty laundry.
Totally.
So I was amazed at the amount, again, I'm not amazed because people suck. They do.
But not those who watch this show.
You may not suck.
That's right.
Okay?
That's right.
But the people I saw that are also YouTubers who decided to take clips from his video and talk about how immature and how unsafe and how it makes us all look bad. And wouldn't you know better? And it,
oh, that's always the way it is.
I wasn't surprised because I know dirty laundry, bad news travels fast, et cetera, but I really was disappointed, since I am in the car entertainment world.
Yeah, totally.
Fair enough to say.
Yeah, dude. To
watch other people be ambulance chasers so that they can get views.
Yeah.
The reason they got views is because they were spouting off their opinion of what you did and how wrong they thought you did it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's really, shitty.
Yeah.
And did you expect that slap back? Because I remember you had called me before you put the video up. You created a video, right, of saying, hey, this happened and we're going to talk about it.
Totally.
We're going to talk about it, and we're
Totally.
going to talk about what went wrong and what was handled wrong.
Yeah.
And so that amazed me right there. It's like you were already an open book about it. What is there to cane you about? But did you
that's smart.
Did
That
you?
was a smart way to
it
go.
was a smart, and it was
Absolutely.
and it was being adult about it and
Right.
taking responsibility for it.
I thought so.
So
Exactly. I
were
thought
you again? I don't think you were surprised because again, people suck. But were you surprised at the amount of what the hell? Another person, chiming in on this like it matters.
Dude, I was shocked. I know you and I talked about it back then because
you called me and kind of
I was
confided
really
in me
bummed.
about it. Yeah,
I was really bummed.
Yeah.
It shocked me because I thought we all screw up, man. We all screw up. We just happened to have 7 cameras and microphones going when we did, right? And by the way, I was the damn passenger in the car, so it's not like I mean, look, I'm
they
not,
still yelled
I'm
at
not
you,
taking
too.
any responsibility away from choices that I made that day, but I thought we did such a good service to our community, the community that I live and breathe and work in every day of my life. I thought we did, because I know a lot of guys that have really bitchin' cars and they have lap belts. I know guys that have really good cars and they never tech inspect them. I know on and on and on and on it goes, right?
And that's the way it goes, yes.
That's right. And it's shit that we've all gotten away a million times with. You know what I mean? You get in a car that's got full harnesses, but you're just going to cruise down the road, so you just put on the lap belts like we did that day,
Sure.
So I thought we really made a good...
Well, you tried to make a service.
Man, I thought we made a difference in our community.
Tried to make a service statement based on, look what happened to me.
Right.
Look at the bad thing that happened. Let's not let that happen to you.
Yep.
Let's make some smart choices and changes.
Yep.
And then you get the, by the way, any of those guys who happen to be watching it, you can bring it to me because I'm calling you out and I think you're a bunch of, dicks.
Yeah.
And lame ass dicks on top of
Right.
it. Not because he's my friend, because I'm in this car entertainment world and I think you need a life.
Yeah.
And I could literally call out a few of them because I know who they are or
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you don't even got enough room to start pointing fingers because of the crap you build and the crap you promote.
Right.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
But you need to come up a couple levels before you even start pointing your finger at me or at him.
That's the stuff I ran into.
That
in the
really made me
magazines,
mad.
Yeah. I'm with you,
on the
dude.
point of it, not
Yeah.
because he's my friend.
Yeah, I
it's
get
like,
it.
did you not see the video he put out that said, "Hey, man, we made big mistakes, and I'm so upfront about it. I'm going to show you all the big mistake I made, so you guys can learn from it." Not
what's
so
cool?
it's not
You know
so
what's cool in
you
the end,
idiots
though?
can make a point about it.
You can't worry about
in
those
the
guys.
end, though, how
I
it turned out, what I thought was cool, was whatever. It's the internet, man. You got yahoos everywhere out
Yes.
there.
Well, they're 10 foot tall and bulletproof behind their
right.
keyboards.
But here's the part that hit me really strong was from phone calls, emails, text messages, some from people I knew, some from people I don't know. Because I'm easy to find. Go to my website.
Like a
I have
rhinestone
phone number there
cowboy.
because I need to get my, I have to answer my
It was
phone.
there.
I like it. I liked it a lot, actually.
I took it.
That's
But the people that contacted me, or you run into them at SEMA or Grand National or any Cars and Coffee or whatever, and people that came up to me and were like, "Hey, dude, thanks for making that video. I put a harness bar in my car,
sure.
and now I have harnesses,
Yes.
or I upgraded my brakes, or this or that." Like, I know,
Right.
I guarantee you, dude, that video, if nothing else, I mean, I think it'll probably save lives, but it'll certainly save like injuries, damages.
Sure.
But that's the stuff you have to turn like.
So we'd like to thank our sponsor, ARP and ARP-bolts.com. And we all three build cars. We all work on this stuff. And
I tinker.
You tinker.
I tinker.
Yes, we all build.
Yeah, and you know what? It's kind of a really cool multiple purpose fastener for me because there's all the science and all the technology, which is bottomless. Trust me. Unbelievable amount of research that they put into these things.
Absolutely.
And on top of it, you get them out of the package, and they're absolutely beautiful. Which I've joked before, it's like jewelry for your car. And when
pre-oiled.
we're building when we're building a high end car, there isn't anything else going on it. It's part of the criteria for me to have them lining the engine bay, not just on the engine, everywhere.
Yeah.
So you get all the strength, the durability, the reliability, and fantastic good looks.
Sure.
Kind of like Jeff here.
And without peer. Without peer.
With,
Anybody
and
else
you
got-
know what?
Or pairs.
Without peer, there's nobody else
Correct.
that does
That
what they
is,
do.
it is. So check them out at arp-bolts.com, and they can help you out.
I'm going to sound a million years old, but the bottom line was I started at Hot Rod in 1980. January of 1980, I worked on the magazine. There was not a lot around.
Right.
And then I went to Carcraft, and you would continually have folks who would take shots at you because you were the only game in town.
Right.
But you just had to turn a blind eye to a lot of that stuff. Now you hear from them like immediately, and in the past it would be somebody who would send you a letter written in pencil because the prison only lets them have a pencil and they don't let them sharpen. And I am not joking. We got letters from guys in prison, and they go, "I hope you like my drawing, but I'm sorry because they wouldn't let me sharpen the pencil again."
That is
so I mean, those are the kinds of
awesome,
folks
man.
that you'd get, and you just got to the point where it was like, I don't care. I'm doing what I believe is the right thing.
Yeah.
If I'm doing something really wrong, I'm going to hear about it. There's going to be something else that comes from it.
Yeah.
But to take ownership of it, to do the video, to explain what went on, you're exonerated from all that. It is what it is, and you just tell them, take a leap, man. It really isn't my problem anymore. And you get thicker skinned about all that stuff. This is going back, a long time now, and we had those folks that would write to us and talk to us. Now it's just an instant on. It's like, oh, here it is now, another phone and whatever. We're getting another comment, or we're getting this, all based in no factual anything. It's like I write stuff on Bring a Trailer, and guys look at stuff and they go like, they'll write something about a car that's completely erroneous, and I go like, is this just because you want to be in this chain of people who are talking about the car and you know nothing about?
Yeah.
So that's what it's all come down to. It's the same kind of internet. I just can't imagine if you're a celebrity. You must have had some of that when you're doing your music and people are writing to you or talking to you, and some of them are just completely, they don't like it, so they let you know about it.
Yeah.
They walk,
Yeah,
they
for
walk.
sure.
Throw a beer bottle.
And it doesn't.
Oh,
that's right.
trust me, we
Nice.
played those bars
That's
before,
right.
dude.
Same.
That's
We
right.
played those bars, man.
You play Rawhide. So anyway,
Play both kinds of music,
that's
country
right.
and western.
That's perfect. And you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, Run Outside. Yeah, I love that movie. But yeah, so yes,
sorry.
no. The point is, but I always just turned a blind eye to those guys. If it was really something serious, I would address it and be honest about it, and try to be honest to the people, because those are the main folks that you're dealing with are your fans, and they're going to enjoy it.
Sure.
And you're going to draw more people in. So the guys that are a problem, they're not a problem.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's you put up a video, and literally in the first handful of seconds, comments start flying. It's literally in seconds, comments start flying.
You bet.
And I like to keep in touch with it, because I like to know what people are enjoying, what they're not enjoying. We brought in a new editor in January, and a lot of people, I saw it consistently in the comments, turn the music down, because he was trying to set more of a dramatic tone for our videos.
Right.
But you got this glorious big block 427 straight
I
bike,
agree.
and all you hear is the music. And
Dial it down.
and that's what I told him. I was like, bro, as soon as that car fires up, music comes back. It's
Yeah.
got to.
That's
and we
the
made our
music.
changes. That's why I read the comments, because I like to stay in touch with it. Plus, there's people on our channel. Dude, there's names that I can pick out, like Jay Weiss and Motorcycle Bum and all these guys, these names that I know.
Sure. Right.
Because they watch every video and they comment on every video. I can't reply to every one of their comments because I would get nothing else in life done. But I spend an hour every day probably going through comments on our YouTube channel, replying to people. Yeah. The good ones, the bad ones, the ugly ones.
That's why your
and
channel
I
is...
backslap people, man. If somebody's talking shit and if it's
You've
just
actually
random,
defended me.
Absolutely.
It was a long time. I forget which car it was.
Multiple times
but
I
you,
have
you
with
had,
you. Well, no, because he builds, but he's a perfect example of some of the cars that he builds where like what you were saying at the beginning of this conversation is I
higher-end car or
oftentimes go to bat for when somebody goes, I could have built that for $100,000. I'm like, brother,
no, you
couldn't have bought the damn parts for the car, let alone did you want paint and body, fit and finish, and for it to all work and drive and stuff like. And we know that, like, you know it really from the inside because you're the one that's writing invoices for this stuff.
Right.
But I have so many friends that are builders, and I have a lot of wealthy friends that own custom vehicles that they've commissioned cars to be built, you know? And
Right.
I mean, I tell people all the time, simple math, dude. Let's just try this one on for size. Let's say the shop only charges $100 an hour, which people even gripe about that, by the way. How do you get $100 an hour? What's your Honda dealer get when you go in to get an oil change?
More than-
I think they're about
exactly.
180
Way
to
more than
200,
100,
right?
yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And that's for a parts changer, right? A guy that plugs in and goes, oh, looks like your O2 sensor's gone.
Yeah.
You know? So let's say it's just $100 an hour and there's 10,000 hours in the car. We didn't buy the parts yet, by the way, right? And I think it's fun to defend these cars because I watch you and your crew and my friend Jason and this guy and that guy, you know, that
Right.
you see a crew of 15 guys working on a car, thousands of hours go in. Now you got something that not only looks really bitchin', but then you get to go, like, most of the time I get to drive these damn things down the road. I mean, I couldn't afford the insurance on most of these cars,
Yep.
you know, but I get the opportunity because people see that I'm, like Steve knows, I get in a car and I'm super respectful. I'm not
course.
going to,
Yep.
you know,
You bet.
and yeah, I'm, as you can tell, I get obsessed with this. As bonkers as I was about music, I love doing this part. I love getting to be the guy that interviews people like Steve or the owner of the car and you talk life, you talk the car.
Yeah, it's a whole
man.
package.
It's so fun
Everybody's
to
got
me.
a story. You know, that's what we always learned in the magazines. Everybody's got a story, and you have to
Yeah.
draw it out of them. You have
do.
to find it. You have to do your research. Like, I read all about you. I knew you.
Yeah.
I knew you. We had a mutual friend who is gone, and a super good guy, and that's how this whole connection kind of started. But
Yeah.
you know, you have to do your homework.
Yeah.
And I remember, you know, your band, Nashville, rocker, the whole bit.
Yep.
I remember.
Yep.
I read all about it and that's just the start. Then you have to get the person to talk about it, and that's the magic.
And it's so fun to do, isn't it?
It is.
Like when I was a musician, you know, it's a bit of a narcissistic approach to life at some level, in my opinion, because you're standing on stage, center stage. You want people to look at you, right?
You bet.
It's very much about you're trying
Doesn't
to
work otherwise.
I know you're giving something. You're always giving something, you know, but you're like, there's something you're trying to get out of it. Man, I fell in love with doing the videos. Didn't expect it. Didn't know I would. I find it so much more satisfying than standing center stage, even though I'm still technically center stage because I'm in every one of the videos.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But it's so fun to make it all about
You bet.
the person, all about the car, and I'm just the guy presenting it.
That's
It's
right.
like, I think I was born to do this shit.
And these little treasures come out of the deal. We did an interview recently with Rod Emery.
Yep.
And we found out that his grandfather invented
Yeah.
the Baja bug. It's like,
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Trippy.
Yeah.
What? Well, and then didn't do anything with it. He kind of like passed it on, and they made it out of fiberglass, and it went off from there. But his grandfather found a Volkswagen that had been smashed on either end.
Yep.
Thus the germination of this process.
Abbreviation.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't need new parts, so just cut it off.
Lob it off.
You know, I get a funny one with Rod. So where I grew up at down in Orange County, a little teeny rural area called Majeska Canyon. Rod's family lived in the next canyon over, Trabuco Canyon.
Okay, sure.
And my dad being a Porsche guy, and Rod's dad, Porsche guy, having Porsche obsolete, right?
Right.
My dad was a traveling salesman, so he'd be in like Des Moines, Iowa, and he'd call Rod's dad, Gary. Why am I drawing a blank? And hey, I just found a set of 356 wheels. You want them? Yeah, buy them. Okay, and he'd be wherever he was. He'd buy parts,
Wow.
bring them back
That's
for Gary.
How small of a world is our world?
It's crazy. It is really.
this is-
but it's
this- dude,
such fun. You know.
This
it's
is
such
so
fun.
funny. So when we were kids, my older brother Joe, he's 2.5 years older than me. His first girlfriend was Rod's older sister, Shelly Emery, and she was really cute. And
Good to know.
yeah. So about, God, it's got to be 7-8 years ago, something like that. I'm really new to this industry, right?
Sure.
And my dad goes, hey, you ever call Rod Emery? Like, who's that?
Wait, is it Rod or Ron?
Rod, R-O-D.
See, I got it right before.
Right here. Right here.
No, I'm not going to look at that
There it
shit.
is.
Come on.
Rod, R-O-D.
But I said Rod earlier, and then somebody
No, you said
no, it's
Ron.
not.
No,
said Ron.
I got it backwards?
You did.
Hey, you said Ron.
It's okay.
I thought it was Rod.
It is Rod.
It is Rod.
See how I did that?
God. So, anyways, so my dad
Just think of hot.
tells me I should get a hold of Rod, right? So I called him up. I go over to his shop, and I was like, you know, dude, you and I were almost brother-in-laws. And he's like, totally has no idea what
No.
the hell I'm talking about.
No,
I said,
nice.
yeah, when my brother Joe was 11, your sister Shelly
11.
they were boyfriend and girlfriend. And that's how Rod and I kind of met. And that's a cool guest for you guys to have on here.
He's
That
great.
guy,
Awesome. I just did a story with him for Classic Car, and that's how that all kind of came together.
Got
He
it.
was gracious enough to let me write the story. That'll be coming out sooner or later. But yeah, so I haven't seen it yet. But anyway, so Rod was very nice about that, and I met him when he was doing. He was at Sage Cheshire Aeronautics, which was doing the Stratus jump for Red Bull.
oh,
Art Thompson, do you know who Art is?
no.
Art's up there in Lancaster, and Rod was renting a place from him, and they were
Got
doing
it.
a special.
They were restoring a very rare Porsche race car.
Correct. There you
And they
go.
were
Was that the
using
Gemund?
No, it was like one of the first RSRs or something.
Yeah,
like
it
that.
was something he was.
And he was
was a
using
Le
the
Mans car.
aerospace technology for scanning and all this.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Art has all that stuff up there. Yeah.
Super
He's a
track.
cool dude, though. And I love, I mean, it's perfect that this is behind us
Yeah.
because
This
I
is
mean,
the way
it's-
this worked.
It's when somebody creates an industry,
Yes.
like I think he has, right? He's really
Sure.
the 356 outlaw guy.
You bet.
He's the guy.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like
It is
that's
cool.
that's something long after he's gone, it'll be left behind for people to enjoy.
That's right. But he's not even 50.
Oh, that's the amazing part, man. And yeah, I could go on and on. I'm a
Anyway,
big
so
Rod
are we.
Emery fan.
So are
I
we.
really am.
So are we. Yeah. It was
Yeah.
We
good.
are indeed. All right. Well, back to the subject at hand, which is Autotopia.
Yes.
And crashing cars.
And, yeah, and then there's crashing cars, and then shitheads giving their opinion about it. I'll say it
Part
for
of
you.
life. Part of
I
life.
can say it.
You watch
Are
the
we
news?
bleeping me, or can I just say these
No,
things?
you can say it.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Steve at
Yeah.
That's right.
This goes right to purevision.com.
That's right. You come right in.
Yeah, pure vision. Leave
bring
the
it-
design
Oh,
part
you
out.
won't
Bring
see a
it,
single
bring
one
it
of
right
those.
here.
No, purevision.com. They'll never see it. You'll get some new contact lenses.
So, now, really,
Purevision.com.
I only need one.
That's true. You
Yeah. See, I'm low budget,
right.
right?
just got to watch out when you make corners around the Porsches around here with the stanchions.
It's a gift.
You know, I thought about you
So-
as I was riding my bike over here. By the way,
Why?
I was.
Closing one eye and trying to do it.
Yeah, totally. And then trying to make that one a little.
Please
foggy.
don't hit a pole.
No. I was riding my motorcycle over, and I was like, "Huh, what kind of music do I want to be listening to?" And I was like, I just feel like some '80s rock right now.
Yeah.
I like so wanted '80s rock.
Scorpions.
And I didn't really think about it until it started playing, and then I started thinking about you when. Dude, I know you'll know this song. Well, because you like,
Yes, I
you're
do.
like, we're
Yes,
of
I
the
am.
same era,
Yes,
kind of, you
that
know.
is-
And
yes, I am.
and I still love like
So-
80s rock.
What is it? So do I.
So
oddly
remember
enough.
that band Autograph?
Sure. Turn up the radio. Yes, indeed.
That song was on as I was coming over, and I'm turning it up as loud as I can get it in my helmet. It's just blasting.
Can't hear the truck.
I was like, oh, this is gonna be so fun. Steve will totally know this song.
Steve totally knows that song. Yes, I do. Indeed.
You guys do a couple of riffs for me?
Yeah, we
okay,
could.
perfect.
if we had guitars here, that could be done easily.
Use the wire. There you go.
No, I won't. So now I'm going to segue back into talking about, his stuff.
I'm in.
So where is Autotopia going? What are we doing? Where are we going? More of the same, branching out to potentially restored old motorcycles and stuff?
Or
Are you
what's the- or what's the-
staying
yeah.
street machine? Because a lot of it is street machine.
It totally is.
For me, street machine covers any modified
Sure.
muscle car, or even early 60s, late 50s street machine.
Yep.
So you can say pro touring, it's still a street machine. Pro street, it's a street machine.
I get
if
it.
it's not a 100-point restorated is that a word? Muscle car, like an original Z28 Camaro.
Yeah.
If it's got Craggers on it and a B&M shifter, it's now, for me,
It's a street machine for
It's
you.
a modified muscle car.
So let me step down for a second. Jeff, I just saw a 67 Z28 like you sold before you left.
This is out to Jeff Smith.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
170. That's
Wow.
what they were asking for it. I was
Wow.
like, oof. Anyway, but
Turn
please.
your head and
That's right.
cough.
That's right. And to that point, what's the pinnacle? What's like the dream one that you haven't done that you gotta
what would
get?
you do?
What's
Are
on the
you
list?
gonna? Because I know it's saturated. The market's saturated with places that do supercars. I mean, there's a million supercars.
Well, I just don't have great passion for those. I mean,
Right, no, I know.
they're super neat and stuff, but
So is it? And there's no. This is not a negative statement.
Yeah.
Is it more of the same?
totally. I want to keep doing. I really like showcasing the street machine. I still call it pro touring and resto mod, right? We're talking about the same thing, obviously.
For all intents and purposes.
We're talking about the same stuff. It's the part of the automotive space that I'm personally most passionate about. But what I've been wanting to branch out and do that I think would be maybe like a within our channel, like a secondary thing in our channel. I'm obsessed with riding motorcycles. I mean, as much as I like cars, like, I mean, I
know,
I'm
sure.
on my Harley 3-4 days a week. And so I think it would be fun. And I've gone through all my
Would you
spaces
do modified
with motorcycles.
like choppers and stuff like that?
Because it fits right back to the American Muscle. Now it's the American Muscle version of motorcycles
Right.
is V twins.
Please get Billy Lane on.
I would love to do that.
He's
and
awesome.
There's some builders I'd go bonkers to get to shoot with. And in that world, like a guy that pops to mind for me, and it's not because of his superstardom as an actor, it's have you seen
Keanu Reeves.
Have you seen the Arch
Am I right?
motorcycles? That's right.
Who is this?
Have you
Keanu
seen,
Reeves.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Have you seen the motorcycles that
I have not.
Dude, you can't. For one, they started. I don't even know what the new prices are, but as a few years ago, they were like $85,000 was a starting price to get one
They're
of his
hip.
bikes.
Wow.
Man, the work. It's. I can only equate it to what I love in this pro touring world, resto mod world, is the like taking the barest bones of a piece of metal and now turning it into something that's full custom but it works. Like that would be a guy I think it would be a blast to shoot his motorcycle. So I think at some point we will branch off and create a sub channel to do
Bikes.
V twin
Yeah,
American motorcycles.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes perfect sense.
I think they translate well. And it's the same
Well, it's
mindset.
expression of creativity.
It is. It is. Total artistry with, I mean, like what you guys do. I think it's why I marvel so much about it is because I'm not a mechanic. I don't wrench. I've never pounded on a piece of metal. And when I see people, shaping body panels and stuff and sharpening lines. So when you stand back on on whatever the car is, even something as simple as a 69 Camaro that's been done so many times, but somebody's gone as far as like they sharpened all the lines and it's just
Minutia.
It's so beautiful to me. And then you get in that damn thing and you do burnouts and people give you thumbs ups and it's fun for me, but the guy you're driving by down on the street that puts the thumbs up, he's having fun too because he just lit his day up.
Yep.
But this is the stuff that you do, like when you're taking Mustangs and you're sectioning the fenders and widening it so that the outside structure looks very similar to the factory, but it's actually housing a much larger wheel and it's got a
And there's
cantilever
a lot of work
suspension
to do that.
Yeah.
Like, you're speaking of the Anvil Mustang.
Yeah, so you're talking about a cantilever.
So much work in that car.
That was crazy, the stuff that was going on there. And you had to, and like you say, the little Easter eggs that you see
you keep
after they're
finding.
called out.
Yep.
You'd never see them.
Yeah.
But there's something different. There's something different about the pan. It's like we talk about Rod's car, something different about the car. And then we find out that everything's laid back.
different about the car.
There isn't anything that's original. It's not like, it's not a pro, you could not find replacement parts for that in, Des Moines.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jeff. Sorry. But anyway, but that's the point.
By the way, the one that made me just laugh too the other day was with I was telling you this video we just put up's doing great, that Roadrunner, because so many people are hating it. And it made me look up because somebody said, "Oh, you ruined a perfectly good Roadrunner." I was like, he's right. I mean, you did. Like it's because it was actually a really clean car that he started with. It wasn't like a total donor rust bucket.
Right.
So it made me look up in 1969 how many Plymouth Roadrunners were produced.
There was a lot.
Huge.
There was almost 85,000 of them produced in 1969. So one more is gone. Ew.
I know.
Ooh, big deal. Right?
Well,
I mean, it's like people
There's not 89,000 of them left.
No, I know, but it's not like
They made 4.
you bring out a perfect 69 Boss 429. No, don't touch that. Leave that just
there's
perfect.
500
Don't-
of them.
That's one what'd you call it? Restorate? You said restorate?
I make the word up, but
right.
yes,
That's one you
what
restorate.
restore.
Only after burrito. That's right.
But like just a bone stock 70 Mustang? Why the hell not make an anvil out of it?
Yeah.
Like
There's a lot of them. It's like the 356 Porsches. Thousands, hundreds of thousands of them were actually made. That's why.
Well, a lot of them rusted away.
Yes, very much so.
Unfortunately.
So
Yeah.
anyway, so he's saving them.
So curious, I got questions for you guys if you don't mind. I mean, I know it's
Turning the tables.
Yeah. Well, you can tell I'm so used to asking questions now.
That's true.
Okay.
Yeah, you get a free
But-
pass for that.
But so SEMA for me is still super fun. I get really
love
excited
it.
about it. This is my 10th year of doing
Yep.
it. And I still get, so you do still get fired
yeah.
up about it.
I do.
Yeah.
Do you go every
No,
year still?
I don't go every year. I go every few years, and it depends on. The hard part is what Vegas has become.
Huh.
I'm really tired of Vegas, and the formula race basic ticket is $1,600 just to go for one day.
16,000.
1,600.
No, I mean for the seats like above the paddock.
Oh, crazy! If you
16 grand. Who?
Friend of mine tried
I want
to
be
get it.
friends with you. Whoever's doing
Yeah,
that.
totally, right?
friend of mine was looking at a hotel room with a balcony in the Cosmopolitan Hotel.
Yeah.
It was $26,000.
Sure.
Just
Oh,
for the
sure.
room.
Oh, dude, there's packages that are over $100,000 for.
So that's worn out with me. Yeah. That's worn out with me. And then I was going every year to the CES show because I like that stuff,
Consumer
and that's been
electronics.
fun. Do I like SEMA? Of course. I've got a lot of friends there, and that's what it always came down
Yeah.
to with me. I would go. You
Yeah.
couldn't walk the halls without
Yep.
being stopped.
Sure.
And I mean, you could not. You wanted to go cross show, and you ended up getting caught by 4 or 5 or 6 people on the
Oh,
way
sure.
over. So
Yeah.
that was very cool, and that was
Yeah.
fun. It wasn't as productive.
Yeah.
It became less productive after a while, and a lot of my relationships eroded as I went to do other things.
Got it.
So is the SEMA show fun? Yeah, my first one was in 1980. So, and I only missed a few. I was at Sport Magazine for 6 years, so I didn't go then. But I mean, going like every year for, what is
Yeah.
that, 40,
Yeah.
43 years, I missed 10. So
That's why I was
33
curious
shots.
because you both so many years, and for
Yeah,
me it's
I've
still a
been going there
blast.
longer than I want to admit,
Yeah.
but it's we could do a whole show
Yeah.
on that topic because I'm friends with other builders,
Yeah,
right?
totally.
And I'm friends with a lot of them, of my ilk.
Yeah.
And it's so funny that it's like a hard divided line. And the thing that's, I don't know, I don't want to be over dramatic and say it makes me sad, but whatever's, a lot of them could care less. Unless they're unveiling a car, they're like, what's the term? Over it.
Sure.
Yeah.
And
Jaded.
I'm like,
Yeah.
Jaded.
I have a ton of fun being up there.
Yeah.
You can I plan my year around being up there for a week.
Yeah.
I love being up there. I go up on Sunday, even if, this year, I do not have a car I'm bringing.
And you're still going in on Sunday.
I'm going on, you know why I'm going on Sunday.
You're
Sunday and
hardcore.
Monday is setup day. That's when I get to see everybody and hang out.
Right.
And joke around. And I love, and I think
That
it's
makes
also,
sense,
and
yeah.
I don't know about for you,
Yeah.
but for me, it's also remnants of the band world. I love being in the arena before we play and watching the light rigging go up.
Oh,
and,
totally,
And
dude.
being
Yeah.
backstage
Yeah.
before the show is happening. I
Yeah.
like that because that energy is cool to me.
I agree.
I like the
I agree.
forklifts going around with all the pallets and the
Yeah.
rigs backing in stuff.
Yeah.
I like that pre-show activity.
Yeah.
And I could say it to everybody, and there's no crowds of people. Everyone can say, "Hey, man, what's going on?"
Oh,
right?
for sure.
And
yeah.
so, and then the show starts, and Tuesday and Wednesdays usually Tuesdays slow going because not everybody's in yet as far as all the
Right.
show goers.
Yeah.
So now everything's up and all the lights are on. You can see everything cool, but it's easy to go look at certain cars if you want to look at something. It's easy to have a conversation because so-and-so's booth isn't overcrowded with people yet.
Yeah.
Wednesday and Thursday it gets picked up, and
That's
now you got
crazy.
the carnival atmosphere.
Yeah, that's the
And
crazy
again,
time.
I agree.
this
That's
this
crazy
is my
time.
take on it. Talking with my friends who shall remain nameless, they're like, if they were sitting here, they'd be like rolling their eyes, going, "Oh God, you have to walk through all those stupid people," and you know, good grief, and this, that, and the other thing. I'm like, I look at it completely differently.
Yeah.
I see all my friends. I get to see new stuff. I get to see
Yes.
cars that get unveiled.
Yep.
And so I still dig it. I still have
I
a
do
great
too.
time. I still like being there. If the God allowing, I'm unveiling 2 cars next year, so I'm going to go do business this year. I've got all the different sponsors and people who are involved with me to sit and talk with.
Yeah.
I've got pre-planning for next year
Yeah.
because I just don't show up and go here. You know?
Right.
So
Right.
we're
There's
going
a
to
lot to it.
pre-plan that. I've
Yeah.
got people to talk with that are new sponsors of mine
Yeah.
and show them artwork of the
bet.
car we're working on and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's cool dinners to get together with people in the evening and have a nice time and socialize. So
Yeah.
for me, I'm not
Right.
over it. I have a good time. I enjoy the camaraderie, and I love the spectacle. I love the show. I
Yeah, that's
love the
good.
whole things.
Dude,
about
I'm
it.
with you.
I like that.
I think it's so much, and I know it's only 10 years for me, but I'm so far from over it.
Yeah.
I mean, like
Yeah,
I
I get
get
it.
fired up for
Sure.
it. I swear. And I like, I not only do on my feet all day walking around. Now it's getting to the point where, like, the last couple of years I've been, asked to host some unveils, and I'm hosting some
Nice.
unveils this year,
Well,
which
that's cool.
to me,
Yeah. That's
you
fun.
know,
Yes.
I literally
fun.
still feel like the new kid, right? You know,
That's
and
good.
so I mean, I kind of giggle at it, like, "Fuck yeah, I'll host your
You bet.
unveil," you
Yeah,
know.
it's a
and,
good thing.
and then after the all day thing, then I still look forward to, like,
The
I'm a
evening is-
geek for Vegas, dude.
Yeah.
I love how trashy and debaucherous it is. Like, I genuinely do. I usually roll out, ask my team, because they know me well in Vegas. I always go, "All right, you guys, Monday night, we're going mellow."
Yeah.
And they're like, now they just know with me. They're like,
That ain't happening.
"Uh-huh,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, we'll see you about 11 a.m. tomorrow," which, like, I really like the whole...
Sure.
I think it's such a neat thing
Yeah,
to
that's
have
crazy.
that many car people all together,
It
even
is.
when it's dramatically different. The guy that builds the truck that sits on 44
yes.
inch
Oh,
yeah.
tires.
Sure.
Yes.
Sure.
Not my thing, but cool. That guy
Right.
put as much heart and soul into that
You bet.
as the guy that built something that I love.
right.
There is a wide pendulum swing.
It's
at SEMA.
radical
Yes,
what
there
you
is.
see there.
It's
you know?
all it's unbridled insanity in mechanical form. Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
And
Of every different kind of ilk, and it's fun to find the one like tucked away that doesn't have a whole big thing going on. It's like, did you see that? Fill in the blank over in so and so's booth.
Yep. I'm gonna.
No.
By the way,
And you
this
go
year,
over and look
Yes.
at it, and it's a
dude,
landslide.
since you're gonna have a little time this year, I'm gonna grab you and walk you over.
Oh, that'd be
to-
fun. Sure.
There's a friend of mine who he became a friend because we were walking in the Toyo Tread Pass maybe 4 years ago now. His name's Chris Ashton. He's got a company now he calls it Ruffian Cars. And Chris
I've heard
built
that, sure.
So Chris built a 1970 Mustang, flared out, green. But what I thought was so neat with Chris was, after we got to know him, Chris is a video game designer. And then he grew his company, and he grew a very successful company doing video game design, mapping for video
Right.
games, Counter-Strike. He did all the mapping for those guys.
Wow.
And
It's like your petrol guys.
So Chris financially did very well for himself. he told me, he said, I've modified cars a bunch my whole life. I've never built one myself. And I want to build something that's not digital, something that's real that I can touch, you know? So he went and bought he had the money, right? So he goes and buys an English wheel. He goes and buys a 3D printer. And he made that, other than the paint and body on that car, he did that entire car in a tiny, it's like your kind of stuff, dude. You doing it in carports and crap like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
He did it
he's stupid too.
He did it in a one-car garage that was so small, I swear you'd have to walk outside to change your mind. It was so damn small. And then he did that GT40, the Superformance GT40 that really...
Yeah. Awesome.
So
car.
I'm dying to show you the 2 cars he's bringing this year because they are... Yeah.
No,
They're
don't tell me
really
anymore.
special.
And on that,
We have to go.
we do.
We have to go. So while we're in the middle of leaving, Autotopia LA.com. What's the...
So autotopiala.com is, it'll get you there. I mean, that's my website primarily for my storage facility, although there is links that'll take you to our
Okay,
social
so how do we go
media
watch the
related
videos?
stuff.
You're on YouTube.
Just go to
right?
YouTube. Go to YouTube and hit Autotopia LA.
There you
Yeah,
go.
but then you'll see more of him than you can possibly stand.
It's
Or
not Autotopia.
go Autotopia LA Steve Strope, and then you'll see Steve Strope cars on Autotopia.
Which
LA.
more
we
than you can
really want to
stand.
see. Absolutely. And it's Autotopia with 2 T's
It is.
as opposed to the Disney.
Dude, I have to. That's right. Do you know how often I have to spell my name?
I bet.
I actually, when I give my email address to people, I go Shawn at AUTOPIALA.com.
That's right.
Because
E-I-E-I-O.
people will
There you
always
go.
go AUTOPIA.
Of course.
And now we got Disneyland,
Because of the Disney deal. Yeah, exactly.
which was my favorite ride as a kid, of course, because you
Well,
got
that's
to think
good.
you were
Of course
driving a
you got
car.
the
Of course
right?
we did.
Fun.
You bet.
Here comes...
We're getting kicked out, man. It's like 9 o'clock.
Oh,
Like we got to go.
we do.
Oh, we really got to go.
Well,
Say goodbye.
Can I sign off?
Say goodbye. Say goodbye. Say thanks to like ARP, Petersen Museum.
ARP-bolts.com. Thank you for our sponsor. We appreciate it. We are Car Guy Confessions. Thanks again to Shawn Davis from Autotopia coming over. And thank you to Cam Benty, and we miss Jeff Smith. Later.